All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. I was gonna watch this anyway. Shoe on head. Okay, I haven't seen a shoe on head video in a long time. But USAID, I'm curious about this because before we get into this, I think it's so strange to me. It is so strange that you have a lot of people who are like lefties or whatever defending USAID as if it's some important thing. And they'd be like, oh, but it's helping other countries with like transgender surgery and all this stuff. It's like, you understand that your tax dollars that could be used to help our people, Americans, could help, be used to help the infrastructure here and programs here and all that. No, that money is going to some other country for those means. Okay, right? Because I think that's a front. I don't think it's what you really think it is. Because how in the world would you do some sort of progressive gender study in a country like Afghanistan or whatever, a country that if you were to propose that idea, they would throw you off a rooftop, okay? No, it's a front. And the idiots, super idiots, on the left, don't see it. They don't see it. And it's because they were fooled, I think. There's something fishy is going on with that stuff, okay? But anyway, let's go and play this and check this out.
A new government agency called Doge. And what I originally thought was just an older sibling giving a younger sibling an unplugged video game controller actually turned into a real thing. And their first order of business was dismantling USAID, an innocent government program that helped poor people all around the world. Or was it?
Or was it? Huh. I bet there's a lot more to it, huh? I'm pretty sure her friends do not like this video. Because I know she's very friendly with those on the left and whatever. But it looks like this video has gotten a lot of likes. 205 dislikes. Oh, those people are like super left and they've been drinking the Kool-Aid and they are pro everything government, but until they're not. I don't know, man. They're idiots.
Hello and welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. I am Shoe on Head and I am not real. I am a figment of your imagination. You have been in a coma since 2012. Wake up. Wake up. Today we will be talking about the dark, seedy underbelly of USAID. This is a topic I've been interested in for a very long time now. And now that recently USAID has been in the news, I figured it is a perfect time.
I don't think I've ever seen a USAID video from Shoe on Head before, but I'll take that, I guess.
To finally talk about it. All the mainstream liberal coverage I've seen of this has basically been late night talk show hosts crying fake tears about it.
Yeah, and that guy, Stephen Colbert, he used to be funny, but anymore he's bought and paid for. He's bought and paid for and shill for I guess just the left or whatever. I mean, it was what he did during the COVID times was absolute cringe. What he does currently still is just absolute cringe. This, defending USAID, as if it's some good thing. It's just, he doesn't care, man. He just doesn't care.
Being dismantled, and all the mainstream Republican coverage has just been about all the woke shit USAID was apparently funding. But I promise you, it is more than that. A lot more. If you're not a very
oh, please tell.
Political person, and you only come here to consume.
Oh, we're gonna skip the ad. We're getting an ad. That's a long ad.
.news/shoe or /shoe. Thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video. So, okay. Donald Trump and Elon Musk created the Department of Government Efficiency, aka.
Hey, and I'm cool with that. We need a department that can scrutinize how we're spending the money. I thought that's something we all wanted. It's been said time and time again. I thought on both sides of the aisle. Where's our money going? Well, Trump created a department to do just that, to find out where the money is going. And then it's a problem. It's a problem. Huh.
Doge. Get it? Like the Reddit meme from 2012? Epic bacon, my fellow memers. Honestly, who am I to talk about dead memes? My username is shoeonhead. So Doge's supposed goal...
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Goal seems to be cutting useless spending.
Man, I need to go back to that. That was funny. That was funny. Like, and I remember her from like the Armored Skeptic days or whatever. Oh man. Man.
Name is shoeonhead. So Doge's supposed goal seems to be cutting useless spending the government is making us pay taxes on. Now, I have very mixed feelings about taxes. From each...
Yeah. Please tell me. And I probably agree.
Each according to his ability. To each according to his needs. Taxation is theft! The tree of liberty will be refreshed with the blood of tyrants! My opinion has...
Yeah, I kind of feel about the same.
always been, if we are going to pay taxes in this country, could they at least go to things that actually help people, like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, child tax credits, firefighters, fixing our bridges and roads, castrating pedophiles, government-funded girlfriends, things like that. And yet,
government-funded girlfriends? Oh, okay. Huh.
Yes, we should be auditing the government. I think that's a good thing. Frankly, I don't care who does it as long as they do it well. Good things are good, bad things are bad. I'm anti-bad things, pro-good things. Those are my politics. And hating libertarians. Just kidding, I love
Okay.
libertarians. I get along great with them. As long as we don't talk about child labor. Anyway, Doge got straight to work, firing government workers and basically hiring my Twitter mutuals. What was once a theater kid-occupied government is now a right-wing schizo poster-occupied government. No, I am not joking.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate...
I know this. I recognize it.
...name Big Balls on...
Big balls, big balls. Big balls entered the White House. That is so cool. That is so freaking funny. It is great. Yes.
...line, so that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge.
If you had told me 10 years ago that Donald Trump and Elon Musk would hire some Zoomer named Big Balls to help audit the government, I'd believe it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
That checks out. They have no relevant experience.
Oh, that's Hillary Clinton. They have no relevant experience. Most of them aren't old enough to rent a car. Okay. What's the point there?
Most of them aren't old enough to rent a car. They're not even old enough to rent a car. They're in their 20s. We sent 18-year-olds to go die in the wars you cheerlead on.
Well, you know, that's just cannon fodder.
On you evil hag. Why are they so focused on the ages of these people when our government is basically a retirement home? But honestly...
I mean, that's right.
I don't blame Hillary Clinton. If I were her, I also wouldn't want 22-year-olds in the government.
Oh, yeah.
Months before dismantling the Department of Education, or apparently Sesame Street, Doge's first order of business was dismantling USAID.
Without providing any proof, Elon said USAID is a criminal organization. Oh, yeah. They're an international...
Dude, what I know of it, it's like connected to the CIA. Okay? That's what I know of it. I don't know the full details and all that stuff. And I hear stuff. It's not some humanitarian program.
crime syndicate hell-bent on helping people.
Pretty f***ed up, huh? Taking money away from an aid program that helps poor people all around the world. Except USAID was not exactly that. In fact, it doesn't even f***ing stand for aid. It stands for United States Agency for International Development.
Oh, those little chummy little bastards. Oh, that's real slick. That is super slick right there.
It has f*** all to do with aid. But honestly, I don't blame you for thinking it does. After all, they do make the word aid a different color in the logo.
That tricks, like, the idiots. Wow.
Sneaky bastards. Although it said USAID provides 42% of global aid, the truth is most of those funds are just spent paying US contractors and secretly conducting regime change all around the world. In fact, 80% of all USAID funding goes to just 75 organizations, while only 6% of that goes to aid. And by auditing
Yep. So, very humanitarian program, right?
USAID, Doge exposed the true, real puppet masters behind the secret cabal of evil masterminds funding the woke ideology spreading all around the globe. You. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
It was you, American taxpayer. Turns out the deep state was the friends we made along the way. And yes, it's true, we are spending billions of dollars in our tax money to fund things like teaching Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language.
Yeah, and this stuff we probably all know about already.
Combating disinformation in Kazakhstan, promoting inclusion in Vietnam. Millions
like
to
combating disinformation in Kazakhstan. Why would any citizen in Kazakhstan give a damn about this? Aren't they? They're a bunch of like sheep herders, dude. They would not give a shit about combating disinformation. They don't even know it's not a good thing to bang their goats. I'm just speaking facts here, okay? Really, what they need is a training on, hey, don't bang goats, okay? Anyway.
To an Armenian LGBT group. Millions to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. Millions for LGBT causes in the Western Balkans. Millions for LGBT activism in Uganda. Millions for atheism.
And why would Uganda care about any of that? Yeah.
In Nepal. Millions for male circumcision around the world. And $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala.
Oh, man. Maybe that's why all the Guatemalans are leaving. Maybe that's why they were leaving, coming up to the U.S., because they were going around and I guess forcing the sex changes. No, probably not. That probably was not happening. It's probably just a front. All of it was a front.
And many other things that were so ridiculous I had to double check to make sure I wasn't being trolled. Taxpayer-funded sex changes in Guatemala? We don't even do that here! Now, you might be saying, Shoo, this seems like some stupid anti-woke shit. And yeah, kind of. You got me.
But those programs have to be a front. It is a decoy for the low, like, or it's let's say people like with low intelligence, but like that right there. That is when people say like gaslighting, whatever, or what was a smoke screen, whatever, and like that is there, just a decoy. That is not what you think it is. It is a mirage or something. It's misinformation. Okay, it is disguised as one thing, but it's really another thing. Because I also guarantee you, those programs that they're funding probably have no accountability. They probably don't report anything, and if they do report anything, it's probably just a bunch of fake stuff. Okay, hey, it's government. They could fake forms. They could fill that stuff out. Okay, nothing wrong with that. They do that all the time. Anyway.
Got me. But I ask you, young naive liberal, why the f*** was John Bolton once the head of USAID? John Bolton, for those of you who are unaware, is an infamous neocon hack. He's literally criticized Trump for not being enough of a warmonger. Neocon hacks, for those same few of you who are
he's a piece of shit.
Unaware, are the people in our government responsible for meddling with other countries all around the world and getting us into wars for basically funsies. The people who suck the teat of Raytheon, Boeing, etc. The military-industrial complex's favorite Discord kittens. These guys come in shades of red and blue. So why was John Bolton, a red guy, in charge of the same program, USAID, that is sending American taxpayer money to foreign countries to have things like trans pride parades?
I like the way she's laying it out for those, I guess, on the left that probably wouldn't buy this. Like, she has to really spell it out for them because, hey, it's not what you think it is. It is something different, and you're being lied to. You're being lied to. And the thing is, too, it's going to be very difficult for them to get past that. Because it's easier just to be like, no way, Shoo. No way. We're not being lied to. You're just crazy. And just continue to believe. Anyway,
Truth is, the USAID thing goes a lot deeper than what a lot of Republican commentators are saying. It wasn't just a bunch of libtards in government wasting our money on stupid woke things. No, there's way more than that. You see, It's current year and we can't just do old-fashioned imperialism anymore. The people don't like that. It's a new era, so we have to dress it up in glitter and rainbows.
Boom. Boom, that makes sense. That makes more sense now. That makes total sense. Because those programs, and especially in those countries that they're going to, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's a bunch of weird stuff. It's like, what? Why would we be doing that? Well, we're not doing that. It's actually something else. It's all just a front for other projects.
To put it bluntly, USAID is nothing but another form of taxpayer-funded regime change, wearing an innocent mask of aid. Shut up, Shoe! You dumb bimbo populist! You reactionary shitlord! You cry, tears running down your fat, retarded face. The United States is just giving foreign countries billions of dollars out of the kindness of their hearts! Oh yeah? I have a lovely bridge on sale down the road. Would you like to buy it? Listen, despite all its faults, I love America, and I love the American people. But if you believe the corrupt, greedy bureaucrats running the deep state of this country do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, you are a sweet...
You are a moron. A flat-out freaking moron.
Innocent angel. And you need to be protected at all costs. I especially side-eye any leftist who has the nerve to run defense for USAID, especially those who call themselves socialists or commies, considering the fact that USAID was basically originally created to destroy communist countries all around the world. Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy under the noble guise of aiding developing nations, USAID was, in many respects, an instrument during the Cold War to counter Soviet influence and keep the Third World from crafting its own socioeconomic model. A year after President John Kennedy created USAID in 1961, he told its directors that, as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you. It wasn't long before the CIA spotted an opportunity to extend its reach. In 1962, USAID launched its Office of Public Safety to send agents around the world under the guise of training police officers. But as it turned out, the trainers were busy teaching enhanced interrogation techniques, a euphemism for torture. The scandal broke out in 1966, and although the office was finally shut down in 1974, the dark practices persisted within military and intelligence circles. By 1980,
It goes pretty deep.
USAID Administrator John Gilligan was candid enough to describe the agency as nothing more than a graduate school for the CIA. At one time, many aid field offices were infiltrated from top to bottom with CIA people, he said. It was pretty well known in the agency who they were and what they were up to. The idea was to plant operatives in every kind of activity we had overseas, government, volunteer, religious, every kind. USAID was quickly nicknamed the CIA's little sister. Oh, and here is John Bolton holding a trophy given to him by USAID in the shape of a hand grenade. Yeah, nothing to see here, folks. So let's talk about Zun Zanea.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You know, that kind of makes the retaliation against like Elon Musk and Tesla make a little bit more sense now, because when that stuff pops off and I see on Twitter people are like attacking Teslas or whatever and really hate Elon, I was like, I understand Elon is embarrassing and cringe, but why are we supposed to hate him so much? I don't understand. Because he's running Doge? Because he's looking into the funding of things? Because he seems weird. He's clearly autistic. Like, that doesn't enrage me. Why does it enrage anyone? I don't understand. I just don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if USAID is playing games behind the scenes, trying to stir people up to protect their funding. Yeah.
Shall we? Sit down. I love this story. Taken directly from Wikipedia, Zunzaneo was an online social networking and microblogging service created by the United States Agency for International Development, aka USAID, and marketed to Cuban users. It was covertly developed as a long-term strategy to encourage Cuban youths to revolt against the nation's government. The developers aimed to use non-controversial content such as sports and music to build up subscribers and then to slowly introduce political messages through social bots to encourage dissent in an astroturfing initiative. So basically, USAID created a fake-ass social media platform in Cuba with our tax dollars, flooded it with bot content about like sports and music and whatever, just to make it seem normal, then slowly started—
Whoa. That makes sense. That makes sense.
to manipulate the users and create political division on the app between Cuban citizens in order to create political chaos in this country and a potential uprising. So yeah, how dare we take money away from those starving undercover agents to make things
If they do that there, why wouldn't they do that here for whatever purpose it serves? And wait a second. While, the reason to go after USAID right now is because of all this woke stuff. But what if Trump knows the real reason? Or what if Trump learned the real reason? Like, what I'm saying is, since they are very undercover like that and involved in geopolitics and involved in like regime change things and very deep, dark operations. Someone from the CIA might have contacted Trump or about. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some sort of division between behind the scenes in the I want to say like a shadow civil war, but not really a civil war, but like a shadow, like a division, contention behind the scenes with these programs, okay, and what they're doing and their intention anymore. Like in my mind right now, I'm seeing like a very crazy, like. You know what? It goes so deep, I don't even want to talk about it right now. Because I would sound crazier than what I'm already sounding. So I'm going to go ahead and let this continue.
Even more sus, the money we spent on Zunzaneo was publicly documented as an unnamed project in Pakistan. Yes, this fake-ass social media psyop they created
look at that. So the Pakistan program wasn't even for Pakistan. It was for the Cuban PSYOP thing. Okay. It's not what you think it is. It's totally... It is. It's just a flat out like decoy there. It is a flat out trick.
In Cuba was documented by our government as being a project in Pakistan. Now, think of all the other weird shit USAID was supposedly funding. Those sex changes in Guatemala. Were they really sex changes in Guatemala? Or were they some covert psyop being done somewhere else in the world?
Good question. But I also would like to ask, with this level of secrecy, in the room, there's going to be those who know, those who think they know, and those who don't know what's going on. And it's like, which one of them is in what position? Right? If you're operating with this level of secrecy all the time. Wow. It's, oh my God, if you spend time on the internet on Discord, this is like Discord chaos. Like, we're getting deep over here, man. It's like, oh my God, hold on.
I guess we'll never know now. Using social media to divide the masses and create political division. You don't think... No. They wouldn't do that. I mean, it's kind of weird they asked the former founder of Twitter to help with this project, but no. They would only do social media psyops in other countries, right? Right? In March 2024, a document was exposed that revealed USAID was running covert psyops all around the internet in order to combat populist misinformation about the government on Twitch, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and 4chan. Although its internal justification was halting the flow of mis- and disinformation, it seemed particularly concerned with malinformation, a concept it defines as speech that is factually correct but misleading, i.e., bothersome truths the US government would prefer the public does not know. USAID suggests directing the public toward mainstream corporate sources of information and psychologically inoculating them against inconvenient facts that challenge US power by pre-bunking information before people see it. Pre-bunking includes discrediting the brand, the credibility, and reputation of those making false allegations.
Okay, that makes sense why all these like news outlets pretty much have the same opinion, same talking points on just about everything. But what do you do in a world where like those like old school media is pretty much dead, right? Like those big names, those legacy names like CNN, MSNBC. I mean, they're hanging on, man. Like more and more people are going to those alternate voices, like podcasts and stuff. But so I guess their plan is to create podcasts that that serve that purpose. But good luck. Good luck competing on that. Well, they're gonna astroturf it. They're gonna make it seem like it's real, but it's really not.
In other words, a state-directed attack against alternative media and critics of the US government. So basically, USAID was funding a bunch of dorks to go all around social media and be like, source? Every time someone criticizes the government. This is somehow more pathetic than when I used to use an alt account to defend myself on BreadTube subreddits. That is basically what our government was doing. Also, I like how this implies the people you called a Fed online might have actually been a Fed. There's a chance that you may have fought with a federal agent, a USAID federal agent on Twitter or 4chan. This also implies that like streamers and social media influencers may have been funded by USAID. But who?
Tim Pool? No, not him. He's funded by Russia. He was funded by Russia, and now he's funded by Israel, which is like funny. Okay.
Who among us, who would be willing to unquestionably, enthusiastically suck establishment cock that hard?
For all the bad stuff America does.
It's destiny. You know what? I don't need any further proof on that one. Any further evidence. I believe it. I believe it.
Around the world, USAID was just an organization that did a lot of nice things. Like it put a lot of money into efforts to help people in a variety of ways, like both materially and culturally.
He's doing it right here.
It's just like a nice, way for the United States to have a positive presence around the world.
For the record, I do not actually believe Destiny is being funded by USAID.
I do. I mean, it's looking that amount of ball washing was pretty good. Okay.
I just thought that transition was funny. I fucking love that quote though. USAID was just a nice organization that did a lot of nice things like culturally help people around the world. Culturally help people? Why are we in the business of cultural imperialism? Why do we have to culturally enrich Latin America or the fucking Balkans?
How do we culturally enrich Latin America? What does that even look like? What are we doing? Oh, tell them that what? I don't even understand. Culturally enrich them. Okay.
Not only are we the world police, but we are now the world HR department. Nope.
Oh, okay. So like culturally enriching them and thinking like they need to change their language. And make it more inclusive and all that stuff, like the Latinx stuff and all that stuff. We talk about that sort of stuff. Like telling them the way they speak and what they do is wrong. They need to change their ways. Like that.
No thank you. Why are we spending billions of dollars doing f***ass shit in other countries while ours crumbles? I don't care about teaching gender studies to Ugandans. The pothole in front of my house—
don't worry, it wasn't even about gender studies to Ugandas. It was about something else.
Hasn't been filled in 3 years. These are my taxes, and I believe my taxes should go to help people in my country.
That's very American of you, and that's going to be a problem in the future, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that's controversial to say. And I know many conservatives agree with me. I'll always hear them say, we can't be spending money in Ukraine. We have to take care of our own. And then they just don't take care of their own because that's socialism or communism or something. Listen, do you actually want to take care of your own? Do you actually want your taxes to go towards helping the poor and sick and families in this country? Are you actually America first, or are you corpos and foreign—
like things like Medicaid, food stamps, like social programs? I don't have a problem with them.
Countries first. I'm more than happy to work with you on good things to fix this country, but I don't think the establishment GOP is.
You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work.
First of all, Medicaid is for anyone who needs it, period.
Well, yeah, Medicaid is for those who need it, yes, but there's an eligibility. There's a criteria that they have to meet. And there might be some people who are claiming to meet that criteria who are not. They don't really meet it. Like, kind of like BSing, whatever, That could be very well be a thing there. People being lazy. You know what? I have a dark thought about this. With the way the economy's going and all this stuff, they want these people to go back to work. They want to cut the Medicaid for those who are like 29-year-old and they're able-bodied. I don't even know how they're on Medicaid. First off, if they're able-bodied and they don't have a disability, how are they on Medicaid? But okay, for those that are, the theory I was thinking about was, what if they're trying to cut the funding or cut some, like the 29-year-olds, let's say, off the Medicaid, and so that they would either have to go back to work and be productive, but maybe there's not a lot of jobs available, so then they have to go where? To the military. My dark thought is that really it's about getting more recruits into the military, making it to where that is like the one avenue you can go. That might not be right. It's kind of twisted. Anyway.
And second of all, 29-year-old guys? You mean your fucking voter base? You mean the very demographic that is shifting the entire country in your direction? Those guys? Yeah, we're just wasting so much money helping young men. Those greedy gamers just gobbling up all the tax money.
Well, your regular 29-year-old gamer guy isn't going to even be on Medicaid, though. So that statement's kind of dumb.
Massive tax cuts to corporations and the rich. Not all the money to the bloated military-industrial complex. No. Gamers. Young men.
And on that statement I made, there's different Medicaid waiver programs, all this stuff. But the Medicaid eligibility, I live in Texas, so, and maybe it's different in other states, but here it's like, in order to receive Medicaid, you have to, if you're an adult, you pretty much have to be disabled. You have to be mentally retarded. You would have to be. There would have to be some sort of that's kind of it. That is kind of it right there. Anyway.
Men who can't find a job, can't afford a house, can't afford college. Young men who can't build a family because of the society you created. Those guys, they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and pay for their own Medicare. This care isn't for them. It's for women. What? Great to know both sides of the establishment fucking hate young men.
And the other side also hates women too. I guess it could be say both sides do, but I don't know about that one. The left, they don't even know what a woman is.
Anyway, sorry, I popped off. Let's get back on topic. Now, USAID did do some good things, I won't deny that. But even some of the good things USAID did were nothing but a bunch of fronts. Using Cuba as an example again, because these are some of the only ones that have been exposed so far, there was a USAID program called the Travelers Project that was said to be an HIV prevention workshop. But yet again, it was nothing but another covert regime change psyop. This was exposed in 2014 by the Associated Press. Young Venezuelans and Peruvians were deployed by USAID to Cuba's college campuses for $5.41 an hour. Really, USAID? Billions of dollars for feminizing mice, and you can't even pay your spies a living wage?
$6 an hour.
Sad. Anyway, they were used to recruit college students into political organizations with the goal of turning them against their government. The goal of, once again, creating political division.
So when you see this stuff popping off in our universities, how much of that has to do with USAID? Or could that be an operation by another country? Or another organization?
Exposed memos about this, USAID called their HIV workshop the, quote, perfect excuse. Right. But we're totally funding DEI in Vietnam for pure humanitarian reasons, I'm sure. This was done so sloppily that even our boy John Bolton came out and disavowed it, but not without saying he thought it was a good idea in principle. Yes,
it's a good idea to lie and trick him. You know, yeah, we need a front. We need a... Yeah, we need to. I guess we need to inject some feds into universities to, influence the population there. Okay.
Great idea to create taxpayer-funded secret psyops all over the world in order to f with other countries' politics. Just don't recruit teenagers to do it next time, okay? What? I honestly just think it's kind of funny we were funding anti-socialist agendas all around the world and disguising it as social progressivism. Don't think too hard about that one. Nope.
That's weird. That's crazy. If you think about that. So, like, a lot of people who are very vocal on the left about what they want for, like, socialism and communism and all this stuff, it's like you guys are buying into, like, a front. Like, that stuff is not going to happen. Like, the government is not going to allow that to happen. You are going to get... you're not going to get your communist utopia. You're going to get a authoritarian hellhole. That's what you're getting. Okay?
Now, Cuba wasn't the only place USAID was culturally helping. On January 12, 2010, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti, killing 220,000 people, injuring another 300,000, and leaving 1.5 million more homeless. In the wake of the catastrophe, the United States provided $1.6 billion in reconstruction funding to Haiti, $651 million of which went to USAID. Rather than employing Haitian construction companies, USAID contracted out the rebuilding projects to international firms. For instance, Minnesota-based construction firm Thor was awarded $18 million in contracts, and Mexico-based firm Cemex received over $7 million. But
well, if the job got to get done right, I don't know. That's interesting, huh?
By far the largest recipient of USAID funding in Haiti was Washington, D.C. based contractor Comonix International, who received over $200 million to carry out a total of 141 projects. In fact, USAID awarded more money to Comonix than to the entire Haitian government in the wake of the earthquake. An audit conducted on Comonix revealed that the company had a tendency to not finish jobs, evaluated its own project on arbitrary criteria, not having to do anything with the project.
Whoa. Evaluated its own projects. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I guarantee you there's not someone who's going to, have some sort of oversight on them to know if they actually do what they're supposed to do. The foreign contractors produce less than desired results. Yeah, exactly. The company had a tendency to not finish the jobs and evaluated its own projects on arbitrary criteria, not having anything to do with the project. So they don't have to do anything. They don't actually have to build anything. They could just say they did, or actually not even that. Wow, they could just pocket the money. It's a scam. It's a freaking scam.
and failed to set timelines, causing some projects to fall behind schedule. In one case, Chemonics was contracted to build Haiti's new parliament building, but what they constructed came out half-finished and unusable. The company only built the framework of the building, not even erecting interior walls to divide office spaces, nor did they bother to furnish the building. Left with this, the Haitian government was forced to draw $775,000 from its public treasury to complete the project. Despite these disastrous results...
Look at the humanitarian effort there, you know? And by the way, that's like that with a lot of government stuff, not just USAID, okay? Anytime there's government contracts and stuff, anytime there's a middleman, you know, like the private sector, you know, they get a little taste of that government money, government contracts. Dude, there's bloat everywhere. There's bloat everywhere. Oh, man. And do they care about actually finishing the job or actually completing the task? No. They care about feeding their stomachs. You know, they care about filling their pockets and all that. That's what it is. When the government's pouring out money, people are like, oh, I'll take for me. You know, that's what it's like, man.
Chemonics to this day remains USAID's top contractor. The construction company was awarded $506.4 million in contracts in 2021 alone. In a leaked email exposed by WikiLeaks, they described this tragedy as a gold rush, ensuring that it would be great.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Start a company, guys, and go for government contracts. And apparently, you don't have to do any sort of oversight on it. And there you go. There's your money.
Great for international companies. Seems like the only thing they are culturally helping is their own wallets, am I right? And you know how you always hear about how poor people are in Venezuela and how the politicians are so rich and live in luxury? Yeah, part of that has to do with USAID. Billions of dollars of aid we sent to Venezuela just lined the pockets of US-backed politicians there. Only 2% of the aid we sent to Venezuela actually went to help Venezuelans. So at this point, the whole world was basically sick of USAID's bullshit. In 2013, Bolivian President Evo Morales expelled USAID officials from his country on the grounds that the agency had conspired against his government by allegedly manipulating social movements in the country. He also charged that a previous USAID program that sought to help cocoa farms switch to new crops was politically motivated. Russia expelled the agency in 2012 for similar reasons. Its foreign ministry argued in a statement that USAID attempts to influence political processes through its grants. And in February, Kenyan Cabinet Secretary Francis Kimimya claimed that his government had evidence that USAID had hired activists to organize anti-government protests in Nairobi in an effort to topple the government.
She's bringing receipts. She's bringing receipts on this. So, I mean, for all those who are like on the defense of USAID, but how do they feel now if they were to watch this video? And this video is doing pretty good for itself. So, I mean, like, when dealing with the government and dealing with this stuff, you should always be very skeptical. When you hear that the government is going to be funding a lot of dumb, stupid programs that on the face of it sound dumb, you have to think, I wonder if these programs are worded this way so that the woke activists on the U.S. side won't get up in arms about it, and they'll actually applaud it and be like, hey, this is a good thing. When really what it is all a front because there's some weird stuff happening behind the scenes. So really, the person who is like, oh, yeah, this is a good thing. You know, it's for some progressive movement. It's really, they were used as a tool. They were a fool, and they were duped. They were conned. Guys, you should always distrust your government.
Oh, and if you're wondering why so many news outlets and journalists were freaking out over the potential shutting down of USAID, yeah, it's probably because it's where their paychecks were coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apparently, USAID was funding about 6,200 journalists and 707 news outlets all across the world. Not even just America. For example, the editor-in-chief of a Ukrainian news outlet wrote that destroying USAID was a greater threat to Ukrainian journalism than the Russian invasion. What? There were independent...
Yeah. The reason why that may sound like an overreaction is because it is. But it wouldn't be an overreaction if that was your paycheck. If you're getting fired, you'd probably feel that way.
And outlets shutting down everywhere, including Russia after the USAID freeze. So we were apparently funding media in both Ukraine and Russia.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Serbia, Moldova, all across Latin America, independent outlets shutting down everywhere. All because the little sister of the CIA can't pay no mo. So I have a question. Why the f*** were we funding media in all these other countries? Well, the CEO for the Center of Investigation...
Well, I never about to get into it, but I can think of reasons why. To spread influence. If you own their media, you could tell them what they can and cannot say. That's it.
Reporting, a USAID-supported Bosnian media organization said it best. Quote, "If you are funded by the US government, there are certain topics that you would simply not go after because the US government has its interests that are above all else."
Exactly. And you know what? There's a lot of guys on the right who kind of already knew this. If you tell them that, hey, that if you just ask them the question, hey, why would the U.S. government be interested in buying media outlets in other countries? They'd be like, oh, yeah, to own the media. There you have it. Very simple, you know.
Oh, I guess that answers my question. USAID is also ridden with other scandals, such as covering up a child sex abuse ring in Kenya, kidnapping and torturing people in Uruguay, forced sterilizing 300,000 Peruvian women, and the famous one you all know, funding drug production in Afghanistan. Oops.
Hey, you gotta get that opium. Hey, how do you think a lot of your painkillers were made as well? I mean,
Poopsies, we did little fucky wuckies. Now think about all the other shit that hasn't been exposed. These aren't mistakes, these aren't flukes, these aren't little fucky wuckies. This is what this program was set out to do. This is why it was created. We were quite literally funding Globo Homo as a sneaky way to do regime change and American intervention. Or do you think we're spending $1 million in Nepal to promote atheism because Hinduism is such a threat? You're cute.
Yeah, that's a huge front right there. And I think I don't know if most people could see this. I wish they could. But I think there are a lot of people who are just like, the most will look at this and be like, I don't really care. Why is my buddy going over here? But when you tell them like what's really going on, they'll be like, oh. It's some real deep stuff, man.
The United States won't sleep until there's an ugly progress flag hanging on a Starbucks on every corner of every street all over the world from Latin America to the Middle East. Ah yes, the greatest American exports, butt, sex, and war. There are a shit ton of old left-wing articles you can find online spanning back to like 2010, even earlier, about how evil USAID is. Now suddenly liberals are acting like it's another
bait and switch.
Fucking beacon of democracy that we have to cry and piss and shit about just because it's Trump getting rid of it. Frankly, I don't care. If they start dismantling things that I do care about, things that do actually help the American people, then I will care. Expose where the trillions of dollars we spent on the Iraq war went next, please. Or, you know, actually release the Epstein files.
Yes, let's do that. That won't happen, though.
Do I think Doge cut USAID because they're our great comrade in arms, cutting off the tentacles of American imperialism? No. Trump probably just cut it because he thought it was a woke gay waste of money, and it was.
A woke gay waste of money. And it was, yeah, for sure. Now, but I wonder, being what it is, an organization that's heavily involved in psyops, they're going to do everything they can to protect it. Unless there's some division there's some sort of division within I guess that secret world of like psyop stuff, okay? Man. When you have government employees playing these games behind the scenes, working in secrecy, and holds them accountable, right? who watches what they do. It's like they run it. That is the deep state, right? It's like it's beyond the president, right? It's like, but wow. Anyway, my only complaint about this video is that I feel like it's a little too late. Well, not about too late. It's a little late, but it's done in a way where if you were like really believing the government with everything they said, I think it might open you up on the truth. I want to say that. I want to be optimistic on that. But I feel that way because I've already been kind of open to the truth of this. I'm not surprised by this. This all makes sense to me. And the reason why is because I already did not like the government. I don't trust the government. I remember the Iraq War. I remember those lies. And it was like, wow. And I was a lefty then. Anyway. Yeah. So there you have it. What Trump really destroyed. The dark truth behind USAID. You guys let me know in the comment section what you thought about this. Y'all take it easy and have a good one.